All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning, and this is the second discuss of the day. We're going to be delving into state representatives pushing for autonomy and, of course, exploring the possibilities of the creation of new states driven by concerns over federal overreach and need for more localized government. Now, this movement is reflected in various ways, and I am being joined by Dr. Moses Saleh. He is a security and of course, a political analyst. He'll be joining me and we'll be talking about the state representatives and the push for autonomy and, of course, creation of new states. All right. Good morning, Dr. Moses. Are you here?
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Moses. It's great to have you on the program.
Good morning.
All right, let's quickly go on a very quick break.
Thank you for
the second discuss continues short. All right, like I said, you are welcome back to the second discuss of the day, and I'm not doing it alone. I have Dr. Moses Saleh. He is a security and political analyst. All right, good morning, Dr. Moses.
Morning.
All right, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Thank you yes, I can hear you. Thank you for being a part of Global Morning. Talking about state representatives are pushing for autonomy and exploring possibilities of creating a new states. Can you delve into that a bit for us so we can have like a background of what this constitutional review is all about?
Thank you for that. The agitation for state creation in Nigeria is not something new. It has been on for more than 2 decades now, especially since we returned back to democratic rule in 1999. There are groups within the country, ethnic nationalities that have been agitating, asking for their own states. And one of the push factors is because of where they are not fairly treated. The issue of marginalization and all that, exclusion and all that, these are the things fueling this agitation. So state creation in Nigeria is not something new. And in this phase of constitutional review, groups and people of that who have been going through that kind of oppression and marginalization will definitely come forward asking for their own state, so that they can have a political space where they can exercise themselves and develop themselves the way they want. It's not a new thing in Nigeria.
When you look at this issue at hand, what are the primary motivations behind state representatives pushing for autonomy and creation of new states?
Like I just mentioned, I said the issue of marginalization, issue of exclusion. There are places where the dominant group or the dominant ethnic group, marginalizes those ones that are not as strong as them in terms of appointment, in terms of what kind of, for instance, now in Benue State, incidentally, that is where I hail from. I'm from Benue. Since the creation of Benue State in 1976, it's only the thieves that have been governor. And there are other groups like the Idomas. They are there. They've never been a governor. In fact, and all that, and that is what is fueling the agitation for the creation of a party. Because when you are in a state and you can never aspire to the highest office, irrespective of who you of your competence, your capacity, and all that, it's not the right thing. Everybody should be able to aspire, but because the Idomas are not as populated as the Chiefs, they take their numeric advantage to exclude the Idomas from becoming governor of the state. So as long as that kind of scenario exists, people will definitely agitate, ask for their own state, so that they can be able to govern themselves and be able to contribute meaningfully in terms of development and all kind of things that they want to see within their environment. So these are the things that I think are responsible for the agitation for the creation of new states.
autonomy
Hello,
impact
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Now, how might the increased state autonomy impact federal state relations and, of course, the balance of power?
Actually, you see, the issue of autonomy is also one of the things that the states have been asking for. If you look at our constitution, you look at constitution is broken into lists. We have the exclusive list, and if you look at the exclusive list, where the federal government alone has the power to, to exercise the power on that list, is humongous. It's too bogus, and that is why the federal government is overwhelmed. Because of the many things that the federal government is giving to. We are a federal state, and in every federation, decentralization is one of the major principles of federalism. Power must be decentralized to other units, other subgroups or subunits of this federation, so that they can be able to, make meaningful contribution to the governance and the development of the country. But in our case, the list that we have, the exclusive list, is over bloated in such a way that the federal government is the only one that has the power to do so many things. And because of limited resources, in terms of human resources and also other economic resources, the federal government cannot do all alone. For instance, if you look at the issue of policing, federal police everywhere. And if you look at our security problem in the country, is lack of effective policing. And is that policing, as long as the constitution as we operate is under the exclusive list, which the federal government alone has the power to handle. So states are asking for all those things because they know that if they are given the opportunity to operate in such spaces, it will bring meaningful contribution to the development of the country and to the security of the country, and also give states, enough leverage to be able to, to exercise certain things that they have been restricted from, as it is right now. So autonomy, in my own case, in my own view, is not something that is new or something that is abnormal, but it is something that we should look at it critically and see how we can be able to, strategically, delegate some responsibilities to the subunit so that they can bring about, job creation, meaningful development, and security of our country and our states.
You mentioned that it has a lot to, it's a step in the right direction when it comes to revenue and all of that. Now, looking at this particular issue on ground, how do postponement of state autonomy and new states propose to address potential issues like resource distribution and economic disparities?
The major argument against the autonomy and all kind of things, it has to do with resource allocation. Because if you look at this autonomy that states are asking for, it has to do with issue of resources within your state. If there are resources within your state, you generate those resources in terms of revenue. Then you pay certain derivatives to the government in terms of your, agreed percentage that that the federal government should take. In my own case, it's not a bad, because we had practiced that before. Before independence, Nigeria operated a regional-based government in such a way that resources within your domain are exploited by the regional government, and a certain percentage is paid to the federal. So it was when the military intervention came, and especially during Aguirre's period, that was why he unitarialized everything, brought unitary government, and everything was centralized. So since then, there have been agitation going on, and let's
Yes,
go back to what
exactly.
we were doing before that and all that. So this is not a new thing. And if you want to look at the country in terms of development and the quality of governance we have experienced in Nigeria, If you compare it to when we operated, that principle of derivation, where regional government generate revenue within their domain and spend as they want, as the need arises, you realize that we had uh, better quality education and all kind of things, better security. Production was, the regional government were competing against each other in terms of industrialization. When you go to Kano, you see those textiles mills that have become moribund. They were very effective during that period. And if you go to the west, you see cocoa, all this Cadbury and all those things. We are using cocoa produced in the west to produce, Cadbury. And you go to the east, you see all kinds of production going on. But because we centralize these things, those industries have died because the places where they are located, the federal government, didn't know how these things came about. So they don't even know what it takes to even, sustain them. And that is why they died. So if we go back to that, to that arrangement, it will bring about effective, governance and also development to our country. There will be a lot of job creation because all those things will be revived again. States will not have enough resources to be able to, carry out some of this responsibility effectively. Because as long as it is, the federal government is not looking in that direction in such a way that they can effectively manage those things. It is those regions where these things are domiciled, should be able to take them up and manage them effectively to enhance national development.
Well, Dr. Moses Saleh, I have a lot of questions to ask, but due to our time, we have to wrap it up at this time. But quickly now, one more question quickly. Now, how might the push for autonomy, you mentioned autonomy, and of course, new states affect the presentation of different groups and communities in political system?
The issue of how will it affect when people are asking for something, in a peaceful manner, and if they are denied for too long, exclusion and marginalization, now these are the fundamental foundation of conflict and
Very
conflict
true.
generation.
Very true.
Anywhere you see people having disagreements and they are fighting each other, if you dig deeper, you will find either exclusion, either marginalization, either oppression hiding somewhere as a major factor contributing to that conflict. So if people are asking for peaceful way of liberating themselves by giving us state so that we can have a bridge, we can be able to make meaningful contribution, and you continue to say no, 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 it will get to a point that it will become a violent agitation.
Very true.
We have started seeing that in some places.
Very true.
It will become
Very
a violent. They will now begin to fight themselves, take arms against themselves, begin to destroy property, killings, and all that. Then at that point, it becomes something that overwhelms the country and all that. So we should be able to look at those things and look at those agitations and address them. Nigeria is a large country. I don't see if we add additional 10 or 15, say it's not a bad idea. It's going to further decentralize the country in such a manner that bring development even closer to people. All you need to do is to look at how you can look at our autonomy agitation to reduce that exclusive list to states so that states can look inward and generate resources for their development. If you don't do that, the way we are right now, there will be a lot of these are the things fueling a lot of insecurity in the country. So
Yes,
we
it
should be
is.
able to look at these agitations and address them, so that people can be able to make Nigeria is potentially a great country, so that we can be able to unleash our potentials, to bring about development in our country. So
All right.
in my own case, we should look at it because you can't govern a country where the population is increasing astronomically and you don't open up spaces for people to operate. It's a dangerous step because if they don't have spaces to operate, they will channel that energy into something that is not too good, and it's not too good for the country.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Moses Sadly, for that. If you sort of course, creation of new states is a step in the right direction for, because individuals, we as Nigerians, we have a lot of potentials, like you mentioned. And of course, Dr. Moses Saleh, he is a security and of course political analyst. Thank you so much for joining Global Morning this beautiful Monday morning. Thank you so much for being a part of the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, with that, we'll end the second discuss of the day. And this is where we draw the curtain on Global Morning this beautiful Monday morning. And from my co host, Ramsey, and I, we say thank you so much for being a part of the program. I am Jumai Manson. Have an amazing day ahead.